call my wife for her. Hey, so for my man, Namene Casa. Name Busan says, say, Yamau, Sima Bakum. Sekawasam to Yasia, and they are some Nabeka.
Okay.
No Casa Nipa me and son. And I go over power much.
Oh,
dear CBA. First, hey, your man Penny, His Excellency. John Dramani Mahama.
Oh,
2.
Okay.
Her Excellency. Yamame Nana J.
Oh.
3.
Okay.
Yura. Hey, lawyer Sami Jamfi.
Oh.
This is a story of how this whole Agradaa NDC President Mahama and the sheep he jailed began. Patricia Esiama, popularly known as Nana Agradaa or Evangelist Mama Pat, is a controversial Ghanaian figure who transitioned from a traditional fetish priestess to a self-styled Ghanaian Christian evangelist. Her journey from operating spiritual shrines to leading the Heaven Way Champions International Ministry in Weija, Accra, has been marked by public attention, legal troubles, and polarizing actions. In July 2025, Agradaa was sentenced to 15 years in prison with hard labor by an Accra Circuit Court, convicted on charges of charlatanic advertisement and defrauding by false pretenses. This story outlines the events leading to her conviction, the trial, the sentencing, and the aftermath. Nana Agradaa first gained prominence as a traditional priestess known for her Sika Gari money doubling rituals, which she advertised on her television stations, Tender TV and Ice TV. These rituals promised supernatural financial multiplication, attracting desperate individuals seeking quick wealth. Her flamboyant persona, bold claims, and media presence made her a household name, but also drew scrutiny from authorities. In 2021, Ghana's national security operatives raided her TV station for operating without licenses and broadcasting charlatanic content. Agradaa was arrested, fined 10,000 Ghana cedis and released on a 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. Following this, she publicly announced her repentance, claiming to have accepted Christianity. She and her husband, Pastor Eric Odo Esiama, also known as Angel Esiama, established Heaven Way Champions International Ministry, where she preached prosperity and led a large congregation. Despite her rebranding, Agrada's past and ongoing activities kept her in the public eye, often for controversial reasons, including a defamation lawsuit from gospel musician Empress Gifty Osei and her vocal political commentary during the 2024 Ghanaian elections.
How are you going to vote for presidential candidates which we have not seen the wife following him? All because of the slim queens. Obama say 1 year campaign. Emma Ometina so. Emma Ofan could di young girls. Slim queen for. Where's the mina? Odi mi mame wo ye. Where's the winner? O chanya de. Yo. Abai we na mo be. Ebi mo extra helicopter no. Obi sa akoko geten. Odi pa bi a obeto ama akoko bi ya nyame tua oka. Abira ye sha banasa na NDC wo chance. Okay. Aje ada eja bempa de nsa to ne so. And the atmosphere no as a sign.
The event leading to Agrada's 15-year sentence began with a televised broadcast on October 5, 2022, aired on her Today's TV channel and various social media platforms. Agradaa announced an all-night church service on October 7, 2022 at her Heaven's Way Ministry International, promising to distribute 300,000 Ghana cedis to attendees in need of financial support for rent or business ventures. During the broadcast, she displayed bundles of cash, claiming she had the spiritual power to double money for those who contributed offerings to her ministry. This promise lured over 1,000 people from across Ghana to attend the service, many of whom were desperate for financial breakthroughs.
1 billion. It's a sika egu hai na. Osofo fabra form kakra. Osofo fafon ne bra form. Fafon ne bra form. Fafon ne bra form. Good. It's a sika ya egu hai ya. Not say 3 3 billion cedis. 3 billion. Aska when nano. Ya de cock a solid fee ho, a radia to one, a fieda a day in on the 7th of October, a number 7 o'clock. I say all night, and I say, yeah, go check. Whether the tosa, good. Yeah, go check at your ma, 24, a mercury 4, or babia, or soft maneuver from the same Toscana, a conform good. It's always gave away now a 3 billion. I had a heavyweight champion, Pedam Saka Crossofo, international ministry.
At the all-night service, Agradaa instructed congregants to form groups of 20, with each member contributing sums starting from 1,000 cedis or less. She represented that the first group, paying 1,000 Ghana cedis each, would receive 50,000 Ghana cedis to share. The next group, paying 900 Ghana cedis, would get 40,000 Ghana cedis, and so on, with a group of 19 contributing 500 Ghana cedis each, promised 25,000 Ghana cedis to share. Based on these assurances, attendees handed over significant sums of money, with some reports indicating amounts as low as 540 Ghana cedis in certain cases. However, after collecting the funds, Agradaa failed to deliver on her promises. Instead, she allegedly dismissed the congregation, leaving them stranded at the church premises. Some reports suggest she claimed the money was for a Kofi and Ama collection, a statement that infuriated attendees. The prosecution later established that Agradaa worked with unnamed accomplices, turning off cameras and lights, and involving tax to execute the scheme, which was described as a well-orchestrated fraud exploiting the faith and desperation of her followers. On October 9, 2022, following numerous public complaints, the Ghana Police Service arrested Agradaa for orchestrating a money doubling scam. Victims shared experiences online, alleging they were duped after parting with their money based on her false promises. The police statement at the time read, "The police have arrested Patricia Esidua alias Nana Agradaa following allegations of a money doubling scam leveled against her by some members of the public. The suspect is currently assisting with police investigations." Agradaa was charged with 1 count of charlatanic advertisement and 5 counts of defrauding by false pretenses. She pleaded not guilty and was granted bail, attending multiple court hearings at Circuit Court 4 and 10 in Accra over nearly 3 years. The prosecution, led by ASP Emmanuel Haliga, presented compelling evidence, including videos of Agrada's advertisement, Exhibit B, a cyber intelligence report, Exhibit A, and transcriptions of the broadcast, Exhibit C series. These demonstrated that Agradaa knowingly made false representations with the intent to defraud. The court also noted her 2021 conviction for similar offenses, undermining her defense's claim that she was a first-time offender. Agrada's legal team, led by Richard Asari Bafo, argued for leniency, emphasizing her role as a mother of 5, with children aged 3 to 24 including a law student, and her cooperation with the court. They claimed the trial itself was punishment enough, that the charlatanic advertisement charge was a misdemeanor, and that Agradaa had distanced herself from her past as a spiritualist. However, the prosecution countered that her actions were premeditated, citing the rise in similar fraudulent advertisements and her lack of genuine remorse. They argued that a strong sentence was necessary to deter others from exploiting vulnerable citizens under the guise of religion. On July 3, 2025, the Accra Circuit Court, presided over by her Anna, Evelyn Asamoah, found Agradaa guilty on 1 count of charlatanic advertisement and 2 counts of defrauding by false pretenses. She was acquitted on 2 other fraud charges due to insufficient evidence from complainant. Before sentencing, the court ordered a mandatory pregnancy test as required under Ghana's Criminal Offences Procedure Act for female convicts. The test confirmed Agradaa was not pregnant, clearing the way for sentencing. Justice Asamoah sentenced Agradaa to 15 years in prison with hard labor for each of the 2 fraud counts, to run concurrently and fine her 25 penalty unit equivalent to 300 Ghana cedis for charlatanic advertisement with an additional 30 days in prison if unpaid. The judge cited the deliberate nature of the fraud, Agrada's status as a religious leader, and the need for deterrence, noting the prevalence of such scams in Ghana. The ruling was hailed as a significant step in combating fraudulent spiritual schemes and protecting vulnerable Ghanaian citizens. As Agradaa was escorted from the courtroom, she appeared composed, urging her followers to never cease praying. In a brief statement to reporters, on July 7, 2025, Agradaa's legal team filed an appeal at the Amasaman High Court, challenging both the conviction and the sentence. They argued that the trial was wrong in law. The judge showed bias, and the 15-year sentence was excessive, particularly given the relatively small amount involved, 540 Ghana cedis in some claims. They also contended that Agradaa was denied a fair trial, citing Article 19 Clause 2C of Ghana's 1992 Constitution, which protects the presumption of innocence. The appeal further claimed the judgment was not supported by the evidence and that public sentiment against Agradaa influenced the ruling. As of August 4, 2025, a bail application was denied and the appeal's outcome remains pending. Public reaction to the sentencing was mixed. Some reviewed it as justice for victims of Agrada's scam, with the ruling seen as a warning to others engaging in similar practices. Her church, Heaven Way, held an emotional first service without her on July 6, 2025, led by her husband, who wiped tears while urging the congregation to remain steadfast. Pastor Esiama insisted the church would continue operating, stating the church will not shut down. During the 2024 election campaign, Agradaa made derogatory remarks and false accusations against President John Dramani Mahama and the National Democratic Congress. She publicly opposed Mahama's candidacy, criticized Reverend Owusu Bempah's prophecy of his victory, and declared she would return to a shrine if Mahama's opponent, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, lost. These actions strained her relationship with Mahama and his supporters. While in prison, Agradaa expressed remorse for her comments.
On August 3, 2025,
during a sermon at the Heaven Way Church, her husband, Pastor Angel Esiama, revealed that Agradaa wished to apologize to President Mahama, Vice President Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, and Sammy Gyamfi, the CEO of the Ghana Gold Board, for her insults and accusations. This apology was part of a broader appeal for clemency,